Good evening, everyone. Welcome to once and all to the Comment Dense podcast. It is 26th of November 2024. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Comment Dense podcast. My name is Ebak, and of course, I'm joined by Burr, Lemming, and Shadow as always. It's nearly Christmas. It's crazy. Everyone's in a dressing gown or a shirt. I mean, I don't dress up for anyone. You know me. You take me as you get me or nothing. My dressing gown's over there.
Podcast like dressed.
We're muted, bud.
There you go.
Now I'm no, not anymore.
Yeah, don't know.
I was dressed once. It was awful.
Drifting says she cannot hear us.
She can hear you now.
Okay. Hi. Hello.
Hello.
So yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah.
I know it was my mistake and quickly corrected it, but there was a bit, between,
Oh yeah, of course, because there's a slight delay between
delay.
us and between us and you.
Yes, hello everyone. So welcome to Commanders Podcast as always. What happens every last Tuesday of the month? I gather my friends and we talk about densely upon topics within pop culture, but mostly video games because that's what we do.
Oh, occasionally.
Occasionally.
Occasionally we talk about.
We
video
can't
games.
use that. That's already look. We can't use that legacy. As much as I love that show and
Yes,
loved.
we can. Yes, we can.
As a reference,
What are you gonna do, sue us?
as a reference
We
to
can
Shadow's
reference it, we can't use it.
Yeah. As a reference to Shadow's current obsession, we can say we occasionally talk about video games.
Jesus Christ.
Well, whatever. The show started now, so
Fair enough.
let's start off with is there any quick news topics we want to cover before we get into what we've been playing?
I studiously am ignoring the news.
Well,
I think-
I've got one very quick news topic.
Starting kind of switch it up this week, and that I'm going to try doing the news before we get into the fun stuff, which is our games, because the news can be
Yes.
depressing. Let's have depressing
let's get the
then
depressing,
news.
awful stuff out the way, and then
Exactly.
talk about cool things, because you
Things.
know Nintendo.
I know of them.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. Do you know who runs all of their servers in China?
No.
Tencent.
Ooh.
Do you know what Tencent just
Okay, so-
announced
What
2 hours ago?
What did they announce 2 hours ago?
That they're cutting Nintendo Switch Online access.
Well, that's not very nice.
Well.
Yeah, in 2026, they're just axing Switch Online
So that means
for
that.
all of China.
Oh, ouch.
Christ, what the hell did Nintendo do there?
I have no idea. I'm assuming it's in the run up to Switch 2, but
But that doesn't make any sense.
Makes no sense at
no,
all.
it doesn't.
Wow, I guess Nintendo pissed in Winnie the Pooh cereal. I guess.
We can only assume so. We already know that China has massive rules on how much time its citizens can spend on video games. So I think this is the ongoing war against the video game addiction within mainland China.
Yeah, because that's totally gonna help. You know, the problems totally are the video games and not the economic nonsense that we are slowly running our country into the ground.
But they have announced that they're going to be giving all users in that region 4 free games.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the news. There you go. Who's next?
Not much we can talk about. PC Gamer was talking about how you should cut the cord to Discord, which I'm like, why would I do that? My friends are on Discord. Fuck that.
What did they say? Sorry.
Discord is becoming that overbearing friend that knows absolutely way too much about my life. So they're suggesting to cut the cord, which I'm like, no.
No.
I would. Well, one, no, all of my friends are there, and two, where would I go?
Yeah.
Back to TeamSpeak. What the
Also-
fuck?
I'm not going back to Skype. Are you kidding me?
Show me a company that does not legally or illegally try to get all my information anyway.
To be fair, I think they were
Yeah,
talking
I
more like how you shouldn't be kind of putting so much of yourself out there. I mean, I don't agree with it. Live your life how you want to live your life.
I mean,
I-
influence
I-
exists.
I will say, don't put anything on. Basically, the way my mum taught me how to do the internet is how I will always teach people how to do the internet. If you would not yell it in the middle of a crowded street, do not put it on the internet.
There's a lot of people who could benefit from that advice, but apparently don't and just
Yeah.
continue to shout. obnoxiously,
like
very
kiddos.
loudly.
Like I'm pretty sure we don't have kids watching this, so
No,
I hope not
but
because I swear a lot.
If not,
But
they can
like,
fuck off. If so, they can fuck off. Yeah,
yeah,
because the
but
show's not
like,
for them.
Go the
yeah,
fuck to
but
sleep.
like, but like, do not put like your name out there. Don't put your age out. Well, you can.
Don't put your dick
Yeah,
pics
don't
out
put your
there.
actual age out there. Don't put like your address, your date of birth, like
yeah,
anything that
don't go.
people could use to find you. Do not put it online, kind of thing.
Yeah,
It's really
don't follow the influencer's mantra. This is not the world of what happens in private stays on YouTube. Don't do that shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just think like the worst person you know. Do you want them to know the thing that you are putting online, basically? And if the answer is no, then don't.
Also, I find this very ironic that people were focusing and were much more serious about internet safety back 15, 10 years ago when the internet was nothing like it is now. And now, when the internet is much, much more dangerous than it was
Yeah,
before,
that's what really
people
gets
just
me. It's
completely don't care.
like we need like the sweet spot between the way I was taught, where it was like everybody on the internet wants to kill you and drop you in a ditch, kind of thing, and the internet safety of now, where it's like put everything you are on the internet. Like, where is the sweet spot between these?
It's really very simple. It's the fact that we've got this massive communication network that everybody has basically free reign access to, and we don't need any sort of qualification before we get access.
I definitely like honestly, I think bring back the segregated internet in that the kiddos, the young preteens had their own section of the internet and everybody else lived on the other side, kind of
Yeah.
thing. Like, don't put the kids in with the adults. That's a recipe for disaster. That's why we have schools. Yeah,
I think schools serve a purpose
I
other than
know.
that, but
You know what I mean,
I know what
though.
you mean. Yeah, yeah, they are kept separate. Yeah, I get what you mean. No, yeah, I do agree with that. And companies do a better job in protecting those spaces because the reason they ditch it is because it's like, well, we have problems protecting those spaces from just let's say bad people online. Like, yeah,
Then
but
try
maybe
harder.
try harder. Basically, skill issue.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, but it's so difficult to moderate children's spaces. Well, it's very difficult to moderate the fucking school system. Just fucking deal with it.
See, if we all know why, don't we? We all know why though. It's because there's no way they can monetize that
Yeah, it's
audience.
not profitable.
Not
And you gotta have
profitable.
money.
You gotta have money. Yes.
Yeah.
Money.
Very annoying.
And getting kids into adult spaces and blast them with ads like you blast adults with ads is profitable.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then we end up with like children like brain blasted with like the worst Twitter takes I've ever seen in my entire
Yeah.
fucking life.
And that inevitably gets them down certain pipelines. Anyway,
Yeah.
news
Wait,
from
yeah.
me. The unfortunate passing of Mr. Tony Todd. Very studious actor, and of course the voice of many characters, including Spider-Man 2's Venom, and the voice of Half-Life 2 Episode 2 as well. Died at 69 years old.
Oof.
Very young. Well, not very young, but
Legendary
young.
horror actor as well. He was in so many horror movies.
Yeah, like dying at 60 now is quite young. My
Yeah.
granddad
Yeah.
died at like 60, 65 kind of thing. It's like, oof.
Yeah, sure, he was pushing 80 next year, would have been, but still, that's still, eh. Things I thought were very interesting is apparently the new Windows 11 update is killing Ubisoft games.
Oh,
No idea
shit,
why.
That's a can of worms.
Yeah, no idea why. It just seems to be that for some reason something in there just doesn't like a very certain subset of Ubisoft games. For example, it does affect it's affecting Outlaws, it's affecting pretty much every Assassin's Creed game in the most recent years, except for what was that one they released last year?
Valhalla?
No, Valhalla was one of those that was affected. It was the most recent one.
Mirage?
Mirage, yes. Mirage, not affected at all. It's like, okay,
Interesting.
yeah,
Now
so...
I'm wondering whether doesn't have something to do with like authorization and staying online, connecting to the servers,
Yeah, there must be some
verifying things.
API it doesn't like.
Something, yeah, it says, in some cases, users might receive a black screen. The affected games are Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Origins, Odyssey, Outlaws, and Avatar Frontiers of Pandora.
Oh, thank God I never picked that game.
Which is a
I
shame, because
feel
apparently
like
it's a
there might
blinder.
be another culprit that we all know and love, de Nouveau.
We don't know. All we know is that it's apparently affected by the Windows
Yeah,
11 version 24H2.
Just
Yeah, if it
another
was
reason
de
not to
novo,
upgrade
though.
to Windows 11.
Well, the thing is, like, if it was de novo, it would be triggering a lot more other games that weren't Ubisoft.
Depends whether de Nouveau has some special flavor for Ubisoft.
See, I would say that, Lemmy. I would say, and another good reason not to upgrade to Windows 11. The thing is, they're stopping support for Windows 10 next October. We're kind of
Which
running out of
fucking
time.
sucks.
It does suck.
Yeah, like
Because I had my upgrade, I have the upgrade available to me, but for some reason my computer, which isn't that old, isn't compatible.
No.
Yeah, no, I'm kind of glad that my my work PC isn't compatible, so it will stay at Windows 10. But that's fine. I mean, the NHS is still at Windows 10, so
Yeah,
it's
I'm
part of the
worried
course.
about,
But
I'm
it's
worried
like,
about my job.
A 2-minute tangent here.
Sure.
if I could just say, like, in my opinion, though, Windows 11 is kind of shit. It's like 90% of it is good, but if I had to recommend anything, anybody who's getting like Windows 11 in the future, please spend the extra money if you can and get the professional, like, full release. Do not get the home edition, otherwise you will not be able to pull out nearly as much of, like, all the crap that's into it. I can't get rid of Copilot. I can't, like, I'm gonna have to, like, at some point I'm gonna have to just bite the bullet and install PowerShell access into my PC, because not being able to tinker with the registry is killing me.
Right. Windows 11 tangent from me. Here's a fun thing about the company I work for and its IT department. All the PCs are on the same network. Obviously, it's a company, but the network is kind of hashed to the point where they're all on Windows 10, except one. One PC in one of the offices randomly updated itself to Windows 11 and has stayed there.
Okay.
Not even the IT department knows why.
Wow, good job.
Good job.
Well done.
Yeah.
Congratulations, you are now the one in control.
Yeah.
I wanted to put on my tinfoil hat, though, because Drifting said, Microsoft, what did Ubisoft do to you? Well, Drifting, Ubisoft released its own subscription service. So, you know, it's a competition now, a direct competition.
We invented cable again, but
to be fair, Ubisoft has come up against legitimate criticism for them clinging to dear fucking life to their own launcher like a life preserver, because it's not really preserving their life.
No, it's actually making everything infinitely worse, because everybody's like, is it on Steam? No. Okay, I don't care then. Like, I think Outlaws would have done a lot better if it was on Steam for like Outlaws and Prince of Persia, like, would have done so much better on Steam. Like, but Ubisoft's like, no, we love making terrible business decisions.
And then wonder why.
I wonder why.
Even EA is slowly walking away from their own launcher.
Because in their mind, it's like, oh well, we'll force people to play it. No, what you're doing is you're selling a lot of people. You're saying we don't want to pay wherever the percentage is to Valve. We don't want to get 50%. We want to get 100%.
I think it's 40. But,
yeah. So they don't want to get 60%. They want to get 100% of the revenue, and they think, oh, that's fine. Well, the thing is, when it's on Steam, Steam's the largest audience of PC gaming in the entire world. You know, you're gonna make more sales just by that.
In my opinion, there are 2 games in history that have successfully pulled off not being on Steam: World of Warcraft and Minecraft.
There's gonna be 3 next year.
What's the other one?
I predict that Rockstar will do with Grand Theft Auto 6.
Well, in fairness, actually, Fortnite
did
has
pretty
managed to
well
survive
not being on Steam.
on Epic, so there is that.
What did you say? What did you say, Bear?
basically what Shadow said, which is Fortnite,
Mm.
that's been forever on Epic. It's also done pretty well despite not being on Steam, but that's mostly because those games were sort of
True, but
They're in
those
the zeitgeist,
that the
man.
trade
zeitgeist.
phenomenons.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a
of the
phenomenon.
time.
It's free
Yeah,
for a start.
And
yeah, and they
that
were one in a million too.
Yeah, like once you enter the zeitgeist, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah,
Like people will
yeah,
just come,
a bunch
but
of
you have
free people come as well.
yeah,
That and
yeah,
the
but
success of
Shall I
Fortnite
finish?
can largely.
yeah, but the thing is also you need to get into the zeitgeist, and not very few games actually mean that get to there. But gamers all know about Steam, so try like basically say no, you come to us is might have worked like in the past, but like now in a society where everybody has to go everywhere for everything, people are like, I really can't be fucked to have like a account on
Another
like
launcher. Yeah,
GOG, Uplay, whatever the fuck, Origin,
Bethesda launcher.
like
Yeah,
BattleNet, yeah, all of those. People are just like, I can't be fucked. Just send me to Steam.
yeah,
really.
Yeah,
people. Yeah,
yeah, and it's I think the reason Fortnite has managed to force its way into the cultural zeitgeist is one, it's free. Two, Epic Games with more money than God have been throwing the money at so many fucking like pop culture references to get people interested.
Yeah, and also I will just say it was better than PUBG.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Yeah,
like
It,
PUBG,
it, it was it was just a
it
good
was just
game.
better. Like people are gonna get
Yeah,
mad at me for saying that, but it just was.
yeah, and I absolutely don't. I'm not surprised at people who say like, I just choose two platforms, Steam or the piratebay.org.
Yeah,
And I
exactly.
absolutely understand, like, if I can't have this game in a normal way that makes sense, I'm gonna have it in another way that doesn't force me to scratch my right ear with my left leg.
I mean,
Yeah, exactly. Like I wanted to get into Marvel Alliance 2. Where can I get that? Absolutely fucking nowhere if I want the PC version because like Activision Blizzard lost the rights to publish Marvel games, so it's just gone. It's just gone into the ether. Where the fuck can I find it?
yeah, and to be fair, I detest these days the idea of like 15 years ago. When I discovered Steam, it was so convenient, and people might scoff like, "Oh, but it's only just one more thing you got to have." I'm like, that's still an inconvenience. I'm sorry, but that for me is an
Sorry,
inconvenience.
yeah, that and the whole idea of one more thing. You allow one more thing, and all of a sudden your desktop is as cluttered as my sister's.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Everything.
I don't want to
I mean,
have. I don't want
yeah,
to. I don't want to have Ubisoft launcher. I don't want to have, Rockstars. I want to have one dedicated place where I can play all this. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's
yeah,
another program. It's another program that's potentially a troubleshooting issue. It's another set of like passwords I need to make. It's another thing that can get broken into later. It's just like,
yeah.
just bro,
It's
come
not
on.
an app that I use for just one thing only or two things.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I used to have Sea of Thieves and others such on Epic and Ghostbusters Epic. I've purchased those games
Yeah,
again on Steam just so I don't have to fucking load up that
yeah.
fucking launcher.
Same with Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't
Yeah.
I don't have Epic on my system anymore because I don't need Epic on my system anymore. And people may say,
Yeah.
"Oh, but Epic gives you free games." Yes, it does, but those games I often the games I already have or I'm not interested in. You know?
Yeah, or like they
Yeah.
come at a price of having Epic account and Epic app installed, and I don't need that shit.
And don't get me
Look,
wrong, I'm
I
not.
can't talk. I currently have the launcher installed at the
Well,
moment.
yeah, I mean that's
Because
but you chose because you have no other
Gambit lives
choice.
there.
You can't have no
Yeah,
other choice. You know, it's
Gambit lives in your Epic account, so you have to have one.
it's just ridiculous that we've reached a certain stage where companies are forcing. They're saying no, customers don't get to make decisions. We make the decisions for you. I don't like that. I don't like that one bit. I've always hated that.
I hate it even more in regards to the access to movies and shows. Where
Oh yeah.
you learn the fact that you actually have to search like what streaming platform I can watch this particular movie on.
Yep.
That's just
I remember when
ridiculous.
it was just Netflix, and then everyone got their own
Yeah.
individual system. I mean, can you imagine how annoying it would fucking be if okay, I've got to go shopping today. I've got to go to Morrison's to get the bread that I like. But if I want to get the beans, I've got to go to Morrison's because they have an exclusive deal with Morrison's. Yeah, how fucking annoying would that be?
I
It's
mean,
Or
it's
worse,
in
like,
fairness, I kind of have to
yeah.
do that already, but
imagine you go to
not
your
just
local
that.
shopping centre. Sorry, Bear?
No, you go ahead. I'll
Imagine going to
go
your
after.
Yeah. Imagine going to your local shopping centre. You're in the shopping mall, and the shops everywhere, and you need to go to 3 or 4 different shops for things you need. And every shop you go into, you need to give them a username and password.
oh yeah, you have to find like your specific loyalty card to
To
give
swipe
them, and then
yourself in.
passcode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also regarding like licenses and regions, it will be like if you want to buy your favorite sausages, you can go to Waitrose only on the odd days. On even days, you have to go to Asda, except in the evenings, because in the evenings you have to go to Tesco. And if it's not evening, you have to go somewhere else. And it's bonkers.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. And to throw even more shade at these launches, I don't think. Well, to be fair, I don't think any more shade need to be thrown than the Baldur's Gate director, throwing shade at the Ubisoft launcher last month, saying if gamers are going to be comfortable with not owning their games, then maybe we should be comfortable not earning any money.
I mean, that's true.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
That's true because that's how I'm feeling right now. It's just like I want to get a hold of these old games. I can't. So I am going to end up
Yeah.
doing something that I don't want to do, basically. But it's like, and then it's going to be like, well, that's illegal. You should be giving us money. I would love to. I would love to, but you're not allowing me. So it has to be thievery.
I
Sorry.
I would have bought Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown on Steam and it came out at the same when it was released. No, but I've got to build a fucking user launcher. So for my own sake, I just got it on PlayStation because at least then I can
Yeah.
justify having it on PlayStation in some fashion.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Except there's another problem that I think even when you buy, because right now you can buy Prince of Persia: Lost Crown on Steam.
you can,
I've
yes.
never tried it, but with a lot of other Ubisoft games, it's you buy it, it still executes Ubisoft launcher,
Oh
and
yeah.
then starts game.
Oh, that is annoying. Yeah, I don't like that at all. But let's move on from the news. What have we been playing? I asked.
Video games, I hope.
I mean, we have been playing video games. Who wants to take up the question first? I'm giving people a choice this week. I'm not saying you talk.
I don't trust that. I don't like that.
Yeah.
Woohoo!
Keeping
I'm
people.
gonna start because I have a very short list because it was. I've not had a lot of games to play this month, so
You were busy in the
I've
first week, weren't you?
Yeah,
I've
we
been
were
busy. I've been
busy.
busy the first week, and I've been busy in the other weeks. I've basically tried to finish the games that I've started before. So I've finished God of War Ragnarok. It's still a great game. It runs much better now on PC, which is great. I advise everyone to finish God of War and then play God of War Ragnarok. It's great.
I have to admit,
I'm still
I was very tempted today to jump on it to start Valhalla, but I've not done that yet. So
uh, I don't feel like trying Valhalla, so I just finished the main game. Maybe I'll return to it one day.
yes,
I'm
drifting
still
legal.
playing. Oh, yeah.
Yes, drifting legal guardian your child. Yes.
Little Guardian of Child. Yes, I'm still playing the Thaumaturge, and it's still really great. I really enjoyed that game. Also, I have started after I've returned from my journey to CE back with Shadow. I have purchased myself a cute little game called Mario and Luigi Brothership,
Yes.
and I have a lot of fun with this game. It's so great. It's so much fun. It has great dialogues. It has great adventures. It has funny animations. The brothers are up to a lot of shenanigans. It's really cute. The fights are much easier on me than the previous Mario and Luigi games were. I will not have to take my Switch to any weddings for Shadow to beat the final boss for me. There's a lot of things that help me actually play the game. There's there um, there are accessibility options built into the game, so you have to earn them. That's not very great, but it's still something that will allow me to easier block things or have extra damage and things like that. It's still really fun. It's much easier for to play for me than the previous mythology games were. But in terms of how much fun you have in those games, it is up there in the top tier. It's really great. And there's finally justice for Luigi. Hashtag justice for Luigi.
Yeah, I've
So
got the
that's all on my list.
I've got the
Yeah,
trailer up for it now for people to see.
I really like it in the trailer that Bowser doesn't go and green guy like he used
Yeah.
to in the previous installments. He's actually
Yeah.
saying Luigi, and it's like
Justice for Luigi.
justice for
Yes.
Luigi. He got so
Yeah.
bad. He's got
Yes.
such a bad rap in the previous games.
Yeah.
It's nice to
No,
see.
Luigi is a very important part of this game, and I love it.
He's
I'm here for it.
he is a good boy.
He's
a
the
very
brain
good boy.
of the operation.
Yeah, I've also gotten Brothership as well, and I've not played it as much as you have, but I've been really enjoying what I've been playing. My first in the Mario and Luigi series, after hearing great things about it from Shadow, and I've always wanted to play that series, but I've never had any of those games. So yeah, to have it get a Switch game is a great opportunity.
Yeah, I would recommend to anybody play Superstar Saga and Partners in Time. Maybe play it Bowser's Inside Story. That's less of a thing. Partners in Time, I think, is the best one, personally.
But I would say play
Difficult to get
Brothership
hold of now.
first. Play Brothership first because it is a great gateway into
Yes,
the series.
yes, I agree.
Neat. I'll add that to my purchase list for January.
Absolutely, it was a great opportunity. Anything else you've been playing, Burr?
No, that's it.
That's it. All right,
I wanted to go first because I have a very short list of games.
fair enough then. Who's next then?
I'll take it.
Go on, Lemming.
A boatload of Baldur's Gate 3.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Drifting and I are finally on Act 3. That's being a lot of fun. But in the meantime, I've been playing also a boatload of Tarkov because the latest wipe on PvE mode is actually a lot of fun. And Satisfactory hit 1.0. So I've played 300 hours of that in 2 months.
So
Yeah.
it's more satisfactory, huh?
I hit the ending. I'm only missing one achievement, which is a bitch to get, so I might just leave it. I've finished the game now.
All right. So you think you're kind of donezo.
I'm pretty. Unless anybody else wants to pull me into a game or two, I am pretty much done with that game. It is. I've gotten to the end. I've seen the culmination of your building. There's nothing other to do after that. It's a fun game. It is really cool. The stuff you can do in it is insane. You can have drones. You can have vehicles. You can have a train line. I've literally just seen it on your stream there. And yeah, it's really comprehensive, just build stuff game. And a single run can take, 300-400 hours. And it's a lot of fun. Beyond that, another game went into 1.0, which I'm not going to have you do not put the trailer for this game up. Because Subverse hit 1.0, and that's all I'm saying.
That's got porn on it.
Oh, it's not got porn on it. It is porn.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah, do not
So, yeah.
don't.
That hit 1.0, so I'm going to put that over there and leave it on my friends can't see me list.
That's fair. Hello, Sandris, and also hello, Surf Frog in the chat. And of course,
Hi, everyone.
anyone else who's lurking as well. Appreciate you guys being here. If you want to join in with the conversation, please feel free. It's not just us four who are here; it's all part of the you're part of the conversation, as it were. So yeah, a bit of Satisfactory and a bit of what was the other one?
Everything.
Everything.
Yeah, I think it should
I'm not
sing
seeing the
maybe.
name.
What about you then, Shadow?
I've been playing I was playing a lot of Baldur's Gate 3 until I went to Norwich, and then somehow Norwich stole my desire to play it for some fucking
A
reason. I don't know.
seagull swooped down and stole Baldur's Gate 3.
Curses!
First, my burger, now Baldur's Gate 3.
I left it in Great Yarmouth. I'm sorry.
It's Burger's Gate 3 now.
Ha. But aside from that, I have been playing a couple of other games. I did do a brief stint in Empires of the Undergrowth. Actually, it's a game that I saw one time when I was in when EGX was still in when EGX was still doing a convention in Birmingham. I saw the game there and I was very interested about it. It's basically, yeah, you are a colony of ants and you do RTS stuff. Do be careful, there are spiders in there. I mean, they appear in the second level. It's not great. As in, the spiders are not great. I don't like them. They're mean. It's a good game. It's quite interesting. For people who like RTS, they'll probably get a kick out of it. For me, though, it's kind of like it doesn't feel very deep. I don't know if it's because I'm not like further into the game enough to really gauge it, but I do. I got to like the second level, and it was like, huh, okay,
It does. The video does make me feel of like a modern day equivalent to Simant, if anyone remembers
Yes,
that.
yeah, it
Yeah,
pretty much
yeah.
is actually, and that's what drew me to it because it was quite unique, and I was like, oh, that's quite
Mhm.
interesting, and it is a good game kind of thing. It's
I was yeah, I was thinking about it. If I may ask, is it more like Dungeon Keeper or is it more like StarCraft?
It's more it's Dungeon Keeper essentially.
Oh,
You don't have direct control over your ants. You could put them in different scent groups, and then basically you just place rally flags where
oh.
you want them to go, kind of thing, and they'll do whatever the hell they want in that area. Like,
Okay, that sounds nicer because I was worried it would be more micromanagement hell that RTSs
no,
of old
no,
were.
thankfully not. Yeah. I think this game got overshadowed by a recent other game called
Mm,
Empires of Ants, for some reason. But I've followed this for quite some time, and it seems to be limbering up pretty good. I would recommend checking it out when it's on a sale. Uh, I did try to play a little bit of Parkasaurus, which is a very cute looking dinosaur game where it's like you have a zoo, but they are dinosaurs instead, and it looks adorable. The vibes are immaculate, but can't I can't get through the tutorial. I just
Oh dear.
something about like it's really cute as the lord you'll see how like really cute and like bright and colorful it is on the trailer that Elle is playing. But the problem is the UI is dog shit. Like the UI, it's
oh,
bright and colorful, sure, but it's also incredibly noisy. It's not going to
Uh,
show you the UI in the trailer, but let me tell you, it's just noise. It's so noisy. It's bright and noisy, and I'm just like, ah, and I just couldn't. Yeah, you can see it. You can see some of it here, but like this is the easiest bit to pass. But then you get into like the bigger things, like the office, and it's like, oh, it's a lot. I'm pretty sure it's a great game.
that
Like like I'm not gonna like kick it down for that, but it's just like it's not for me. It's a little
that interface looks very SimCity 2000.
yeah. It's a bit quirky as well. Yeah, it's just very noisy, very like visually noisy, and it's quirky in a bit that can be a bit too much sometimes. Like I'm pretty sure for the people who really like this kind of games, it's gonna like be really good for them. But for me, it wasn't, and that was a shame because I really wanted to like it, and I
Mm.
just couldn't. I have also been I've also been playing Fortnite. It's a strange thing.
Hmm,
Never thought I'd say that.
never heard of it. What is that?
Never thought I'd say I've been playing a battle royale game. That's like the complete opposite of what I usually do. But I've been playing a bit of it. Usually I stick to like the Lego Fortnite mode because I like Lego, and also it's like a Minecrafty sort of survivally thingy in the background. It's quite cool. I like it. But I recently I recently played some Fortnite. I've been recently playing some Fortnite as just like something to do because it's just really easy to get into a match and just like cycle through it kind of thing. And a couple of days back, somehow some way, I'm not even sure how I managed it, but I got to number 2, and I'm like, What? What?" The people who were in call with me can attest the fact that I was going, "Oh my god, mum, I'm scared. Come pick me up."
Oh shit! The die just rolled the favor, no?
I was just like, "Why am I?" Like, people were just dropping like flight. I was shooting people. They were dropping
I'm
around me, and
doing
I'm just
too
like,
well. I'm scared.
"Yeah, I know that was it." I was just like, "I don't like this. I'm not usually like in the top 5. Like, please stop." And then the guy on the other side of the other side of the beach killed me, and I was like, "That's fair. That's fair. You put me out of my misery. You were clearly better at this than I was." So yeah, I'm gonna live on that high for the rest of my goddamn life.
If you manage to kill Shadow, you deserve the first place.
Look, usually I get picked off at like I think I've got to like the first 10, like or something, and that's usually when the good players find me and just kick me to smithereens. But it was just, I don't know. I was good at a video game, maybe.
So you
You
mean
are good at
sometimes
video
that
games.
pops up for me. Sometimes I'm competent at video games, so
You are more competent at video games than I am. Come on, be
not in
kind.
multiplayer games.
I don't know. There's
Yeah.
this game. We call it Star Wars Squadrons.
Well, yes, but the thing
It
is,
is a
I
multiplayer
had,
game.
had a lot of practice in that. Let's put it that way.
Oh, I've had a lot of practice. Not like I'm actually good or anything.
I mean, I've been there. You guys are with me, so it's
Yeah, but like you're good at it.
I mean
true.
that
The
that is
compliment, damn you.
I am taking the compliment.
that is literally where getting good comes from.
Yes, the
Um,
compliments are arriving at
Also,
your door.
there's actually one game that I just remembered that I played that I wanted to just shove in before you go to yours.
sure. Is there any more for
It's
Shadow?
called
Quickly.
oh,
Is there any...
No,
Okay. Bah.
no. I've installed a lot of games that I will play in the future. Maybe.
But
yes. Yeah, just quickly, Doors colon Paradox is a really cute little game. It's another game from the series of escape rooms in a box. This time the box is just a little cute door with various styles like ancient Egyptian, Asian, Chinese, all kinds of like cyberpunk, piratey, all kinds of really fun things. If you enjoy escape room box thingamajigs, it's really fun to play. And yeah. It has a lot of levels, so you won't be bored. Doors colon Paradox.
Yeah, it seems like
Really
it's
cool.
like a puzzle box game, which
Yes.
I would probably give it a shot myself.
Mm.
Looks pretty good. For me, there's been a lot of kind of small obsessions recently. One of the ones that I recently played was Aquanox, which is
I've heard of that game.
so you never heard of it, or you have heard of
I
it?
have heard of it.
Yeah, it's actually a second in a series. It's also quite an old game. Um,
Yeah, wasn't this known for having like really realistic water physics or something?
I mean, it's a submarine combat game, effectively.
Oh,
Um,
I
it's
don't know if that's the one I'm thinking of then.
maybe I don't know. I mean, here's
I have
some.
heard of the name. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, it's see if I can find out. Yes, yeah, there we go. Because I recently got a new HOTAS, courtesy of some very generous friends. So of course that's what I've been trying to get running on it. Well, it runs perfectly fine. It's just I'm terrible at it because it's one of those weird things where, unlike flight games, you've also got to worry about, you know, depth.
Yeah.
You know, so and strafing. So it's kind of like a weird, kind of like it's weird.
Yeah, and the thing about water combat is that you will eventually stop moving. Like in flight games, you tend to like keep moving all the time,
Mhm.
but in water, you just sort of stop at some point. And it's like, I don't like that.
Yeah, and as you can hear, very, very 90s, 2000 soundtrack with like the very kind of, when I booted up, I was like,
It
wow,
does
this
look
is.
very 90s,
It
and
is.
I gotta love that era of games where everybody was like, we're gonna do some crazy fucking shit, you know? Like we're gonna do some really cool experiments. Like, you know, the 90s were great.
I tried playing
And
this
it
game.
turned brown for some reason.
I did try playing this on a mouse. No. Um, just no. Absolutely,
You'll
absolutely,
never find me playing a game like that on a mouse and keyboard.
absolutely not. So
Same with Ace Combat 7. It's just like, mouse and keyboard is an option. Don't use it. Use one of these.
I did play Rise of the Tomb Raider a little bit because it's been a while since I played it. I just fancied one day saying I fancy playing Rise of the Tomb Raider, and that was quite fun. One game which I have also dipped my toes in, or more of it's a collection of games, is the Castlevania Dominus collection. I've been playing a little bit of Portrait of Ruin, a little bit of Order of Ecclesia. Great games. Not what I would expect. I've never played them before, so it was fascinating to give them a try. I'll definitely be going back to them, and probably going back to Dawn of Sorrow as well. We'll see. But yeah, great Castlevania games. I mean, it's Castlevania. How can I not love it? More specifically, it's Metroidvania Castlevania. How can I not love it? So there's that. What else have I been playing? Playing some more Hitman.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Yes.
I did play some Hitman because I love the challenge mode in Hitman, and I love the idea of for each mission. There's like tons and tons of challenges that you can. I literally played the first level for about 4 hours or something. So there is that. I'd highly recommend that game, World of Assassin, to anyone who's interested in the series. It's a great puzzle-based game. So yeah, fantastic.
It's a very serious game where we can kill people.
Very serious and gritty
by
game,
making
yeah.
flip on a banana off the side of a building.
Yeah, have a banana.
One of my favorites is putting a bomb on a jet ski and then having the asshole drive it around and then just beep, and watching them go, whee!
Yep.
I still love just like going, hey Al, can you drop a chandelier on them? And they're like, yeah.
Yeah, go on in.
Hey, I'll kill him with a toilet.
Yeah, share head
Get
down
over
in
the
there.
rubber duck.
Yeah, there's that. And another game which I did put up for a little bit today, but not had a chance to fully dive into it. When I really want to get involved with it, and that is Planet Coaster 2 to be precise. That game had a bit of a rocky launch from what I heard, but it looks absolutely spectacular as a game, and absolutely. What's nice is that it's nice seeing the devs are very much listening to a lot of feedback the community is giving them. The community has been a bit, well, I'm not going to say entitled, because there are some legitimate criticisms that need to be addressed, and they are being addressed. It's just that I think, a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B, But yeah, it looks amazing, and my PC can run it, so that's a good thing. Unlike Planet Coaster 1, well, I can run Planet Coaster 1, but probably just barely. My one fear is will I be good at creating things in this? And that's where I kind of not sure. We'll see.
Yeah, no, that's me. That's me with Planet Zoo, and I'm trying to push myself back into it currently. Just be like, I can do this. I've got to. Perfectionism is a curse.
It's a lie, like the cake.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's what I've been playing. And that's what we've been playing over the last month or so. But quick before we go into the main topic, want to discuss what are people looking forward to? What's your next big game?
Civ 7. Pre-ordered it, and it is sitting in Steam, taunting me at the moment. And I did book. Can't book days. I can't book it off because I don't have enough holiday left. But I did book the Friday of that week off. So basically, it's going to be like I got 2 days of work, and then it's like Friday morning. I roll out of bed, and it's just been like, yeah.
Yeah, Civ 7 is this is what Civ 7 looks like, by the way, for reference. Yeah, I remember we saw the reveal trailer for that, and you were very on board with it.
Yeah.
I'm definitely looking forward to that.
I really like when we were watching the bigger reveal of Civ 7, and Burr and I were going, "Oh, you could go up rivers," kind of thing. And
I'm like, what
and you were
the
sitting there like, you couldn't go up rivers before. It was so
because I never played a Civilization game.
Wait, it's important?
It's always been on my list, but I never played it. I know I've not had the one more turn kind of curse, as it is, as I've heard it called.
Yeah,
Um,
I think you might find Civilization interesting, but
oh, I think I'd
it,
vibe with it.
it's very
Yeah.
it's very much a case of you either you either love it to the fact that you will play it like forever,
Mm.
or you bounce straight off it. It's one of those Marmite
Mm.
games, really. You can't. It's not really a game where you're like, oh yeah, well I'll play a couple of turns kind of thing, and then I'm out. You're either in or you're out kind of thing.
Are you in or
Mm.
out?
I also
Lemming.
hate Marmite for the record.
What game am I looking forward to the most? Well, judging from my history as a science fiction nerd, Dune Awakening.
Mm.
That's the MMO. Am I correct? Or is it
Yeah,
the
the
multiplayer?
online co-op. It is mass multiplayer online, but it's
Mm.
a lot. It's a very complicated looking game. Uh, like you have groups of people setting up bases on Dune in the open desert, and every now and then a sandstorm will rumble through and reset everything, so everyone has to build up again, but at the same time fighting amongst themselves.
Murder.
Murder.
Yeah, lots of murder. This is like you can be you can be a sneaky guy, you can be a tank, you can do all sorts of things. And I'm just looking at this going, I get to play in the deep desert of Dune, and I will see giant sandworms occasionally, and badass stuff will happen. Sign me up.
You can be Lisana. Everyone can be Lisana Gaib.
Yeah.
Fair enough. One thing I did forget to mention, sort of kind of go back on the topic. There was one game that I forgot to mention entirely, which I do want to mention it because I think this game deserves more press, good press at that, and that is Star Wars Outlaws.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I played the DLC, the Wild Card DLC, which was I've not finished the DLC, but I've been really enjoying it so far. And that's a back tournament game. Oh, fantastic! I loved every second of it. Yeah, he's getting his next hits. I mean, yes. Although, that's what I was playing. I look forward to playing it again. Probably will play it some more this week. Perhaps
yeah.
Friday. We'll see.
I will be there, sir.
But-
Once again, you will have to chase Thirsty Land off with a stick.
No, you won't. He's been very well behaved of recent.
Burr.
Yeah, there's a lot of games that I'm looking forward to, but those are games that I've bought long time ago and have only now I'm approaching to the time when I'll finally pick them up. Like the Lamplighters League, the Shadow Gambit, Excavation of Hobbs Barrow, they're all great games that I'm really waiting for. But from new releases, there's one game that I'm really looking forward to that lets me punch the Nazis.
Oh,
yes.
Yes.
Is
I
it
cannot
Indiana
wait to
Jones and the
watch you
Great
stream that
Circle?
now.
Indiana
I
Jones-
really...
that was the game I talk about, so we can spend twice as much time talking about it.
Yeah.
Indiana Jones and the Great Circle are I'm looking forward to this game.
Yeah, I got to say, initially when they announced it, you were hyped from the beginning. I was very skeptical about it. But the more we found out about the game, the more trailers we've seen, the more gameplay videos we've seen, the more sort of parts of how the story is being narrated, how the game is being narrated and presented, I've been getting more and more hyped up for it. And I'm really excited to play it.
Can you believe it's out next week as
Yeah.
well?
Next week?
Next week.
Yes.
And
God damn.
It's out on Saturday, right?
I don't know about Saturday, but I get paid this Friday.
I mean, the one for people who the version for people who have paid extra money pre-order to have it earlier, it's on Friday.
Wow. Okay. I'm guessing I'll be. All right. I guess I'll be ordering that quite early on Friday then, because I do want to play it. And yes, I will certainly be streaming it because why would I not? From Star Wars to Indiana Jones.
I really want to watch you play it. Like,
I want to play it so bad.
Mm-hmm.
wonder if a certain person is aware of it outside of our circle.
That includes Indy's camera.
But
Who?
I'll keep that to myself while I check
Oh, okay.
ITV.
Oh, Is it next Friday or this Friday?
It's this Friday, 6th of December.
Because
Sorry,
this is
next Friday, 6th of December.
yeah, I was gonna say this says 9th of December release. So I was like, this Friday or next?
Yeah, I think it comes out next Friday, so the Friday the 6th on
Yeah,
release.
It comes
But
on.
you can,
yeah.
but if you
Officially,
pre-order
it
it,
comes on Yeah,
I think if
officially
you-
it comes on Monday, 9th of December. If you pre-order, you can play 3 days earlier on Friday, 6th
Yeah.
of December.
okay, cool. Yeah,
Just making sure.
to be
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, looking forward to it. Someone tell AJ like but it's getting fair enough. Yeah,
Yes.
I
He
mean,
does
also,
a really good indie voice.
which is why I'm surprised is Troy Baker playing the role
Mm.
here and not him. But his
Well, he's a more popular name.
that is true. He
like,
that's true. He has a
AJ.
name. Yeah.
Yeah, AJ's. I think AJ's like breakout role has been Gambit in X-Men '97. I don't think he's had like a high profile role since then. He's
I will
been all
say-
over the place in like minor roles, but
One of my favorite mechanics that I've seen in this game is when you get knocked out, you can crawl to your hat, and if you get to the hat, you get an extra chance. I thought that's a brilliant idea.
so
I love
good,
it.
Yeah, like
That's perfect.
yeah,
That's
it's
such
just,
That's how we mix mechanics and narrative.
I
Yeah.
really hope they do like the stand up, picking up the hat, and just putting it on.
yeah, like I love like the charm this game oozes, like, and you can see that the people who made this really fucking love Indiana Jones, and it's
Yeah,
just like
yeah.
yes,
Plus, you're gonna
It's like
punch Nazis in the face.
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're gonna look. Oh my god, can you imagine how fucking terrible Twitter is going to be with this game release?
All I can say is punching Nazis is our civic duty.
And also,
Yes.
it's what machine games are known for. So
Yeah, the only good Nazi is an ex-Nazi.
So, of course, Twitter is gonna be upset about this game. It's about punching them.
I know,
Yeah.
right? I remember people losing their shit when Wolfenstein. It wasn't.
Why can't you
what's
talk
the
to the
order?
Nazis?
Yeah, it wasn't New Order, but it was the other one, the
The
sequel
new
to
Colossus.
Yeah, like Colossus came out, and people, like right-wing people, were really upset about it. It's like it's fucking Wolfenstein. What the fuck?
what I do,
Yeah.
It's cartoony, the freaking evil Nazis
Me.
that you murder.
Twitter literally is one big experiment on why you can't talk to Nazis.
Xander's nailed it. You can talk to Nazis. It's just that you do the talking with your fists. Yes,
Yeah,
that's
nice.
it.
there is a really good GIF that goes around on Tumblr every now and again of there's this Nazi guy like squaring up to another, like there's a guy squaring up to this Nazi, and the Nazi's got his hand up to say no, please we could talk about this. The guy just fucking decks him, and the Nazi just collapses like
Oh, yeah.
straight on the floor. It's mwah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's called impact communication. It's just
Yeah.
What I like as well is one, the focus on the puzzle aspect of this game. From it seems to have quite a lot of like exploration and puzzles, and the fisticuffs. Like the punches are the actual sound
Yes.
effects from the movies, which I think was they said
Nice.
it's them hitting meat
Hitting a
that's in
pig.
like a bag or something.
Yeah, I think they're hitting like a pig carcass or something.
All I know is that Indiana Jones has always had a very unique like punching sound effect.
yeah.
And that's what I don't know. But I'm
Also,
so
they are-
glad to see it.
They have Wilhelm scream as one of their sound
Yeah.
bites.
They
So,
better.
yeah.
I love in the trailer like hitting people with a fucking like
Rolling pin,
Like,
yes.
of course.
'Cause-
the fucking the guy that jumps away from the dynamite just absolutely oozing with
Yeah.
charm.
Yeah. So I just love when in the story bits the guy visiting places will not shut up about how nerdy they are about something. Like what Nate was doing in all the Uncharted games. He would never shut up about the places you visit. And I love that about indie as well.
But slight tangent, but we'll work. I'm part of a team that's doing some RPG work for the Star Wars RPG. Not officially, it's a full fan production thing. Where we're rebalancing some of the trees, and we're actually dealing with the archaeologist tree right now, and that's a trope we're introducing as an ability where they get to like be like, hey, what's that?
Yeah, we're having the hat mechanic is demonstrated.
Yes, so, yeah, the idea that you can just reveal like text on an item nearby, and great story points. But yeah,
Can
fun-
I also confess something?
Yep.
Young Indy could get it.
Oh yes.
Damn right.
Damn right. But yeah, so that's what I'm looking for. That's what me and Burr apparently are looking forward to. That was mine as well. So there we go.
I'm looking forward to watching you both.
Yeah. Also, replying to what Shadow said, I mean, it is shown in at least 2 of the movies that most of the girls coming to his lectures, they came there for one thing only.
I mean, yes.
Damn it, Shadow, you got me to you beat me to it.
I mean, Shadow is the fastest band on the West.
I didn't think I'd actually get to it. I had my hands full and everything. I was like, oh, and I have to do that thing where I'm like an old grandma. I'm like, oh, gotta make sure I actually get to the ban button and I don't kick the timeout one.
That's true. There's another game which will. Okay, I'll be fair. Since Burr took mine, I will talk about another one which is coming out because, boy me, when I know I'm not going to miss an opportunity to talk about this game because I talk about this game in hushed voices every now and then. And that is Soul Reaver Remastered,
Oh, yes.
which is looking amazing. There's recently abilities trailer, so I'll have that on. There we go.
I would love to watch you play that too.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, an old game from the 90s.
Another 90s classic.
Another IDOS classic as well. Brought up to date and released. And again, like the Tomb Raider 1 to 3 collection, because that was headed up by the person who was head of the Open Lara project. This is headed up by someone who is head of a fan remaster of the original. So once again, it's creative directors who know what they're doing, effectively.
Yeah, and it's also a game that Embracer is finally releasing. Sorry.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow, ouch.
Am I right? Am I right or am I right?
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. I never said you were wrong.
She's out of
I
line.
haven't added my wows to my soundboard yet.
Wow.
Yeah, Embracer like, why are we losing all of this money? Perhaps you'd like to release some games, lads.
Okay, let's get on to the main topic, the meat as of tonight's conversation. So very recently, there's a game release called Dragon Age: The Veilguard, and there were some comments that I saw on Facebook, which I know Facebook, but still, that kind of got me thinking, and it was kind of like an actual innocent.
Sorry.
That's right. So
Release games, wild suggestion.
what a wild idea! I know, right? And the conversation was along the lines of the fact that there were people objecting to naturally the transgender scenes in the game, where apparently you could not show anything but support for the person, and there's no evil option to be a dick, effectively, because they're like, I want to be evil, I want to be able to be a dick, and that got me thinking, like, but are you always given opportunity in all games? And it got me thinking that evil in games is a relative term. Like whenever there's like talk about the evil option in games, it rarely is the definitively evil option because you're still going against the big bad. You're an anti-hero at that point, though. So it got me thinking, like, morality systems in games and what we think about them. Do we think they go far enough? Do we think that they don't go far enough, etc.?
Can I say something a little bit brave here?
Go on.
Morality systems are great systems, except they're shit.
They are they.
Yeah.
Every game that
How
has
could
a
you-
morality system, like, is good, except for the morality system itself. The morality system is
Let's because you
How
said
could
it's
you
shit.
say something so controversial
You-
yet so brave?
You said it's shit, so let's now actually establish what about it makes it so, rather than just like blanket statement.
Yeah. Well, it's supposed to be the controversial clickbait statement that gets you to click on my ad.
Oh, I see. Okay, sorry.
So I will explain. I will explain because saying like morality systems in games are cool except for the system itself, which is shit, is a take. And I will explain that morality systems, when they are codified by the game, are arbitrary systems that they codify morality, and in doing so, they make it shit. the best games that work with morality are the games that don't have like a bar that says good or evil kind of thing. They allow you to make choices which may be good or may be evil, but they don't specifically tell you if this is a good option or a bad option.
They don't.
Because
Are you kind of arguing that they don't gamify it?
um
For example, in those games, are you ever incentivized to not go to one extreme or the other?
I mean, they do.
that is true.
Mm.
Yeah, that like morality systems are extremely like complicated systems by their very nature. But I think a lot of people like especially like I know BioWare games very very well, and all the BioWare games with the best morality systems are the ones that do not track it. Like Dragon Age doesn't track it, and Mass Effect doesn't track it. Every other game that tracks it in whatever stage it is automatically like makes the morality itself shit, because as El said, you are not incentivized to be grey. You are not incentivized to sit in the middle or make like some good choices, some bad choices. You're incentivized to go to one extreme or the other extreme. Like you're either like pure good or pure bad. You don't get like the little bit in between.
Which often
And the
means that
best
nuance gets lost.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where morality really shines, is in the decisions of was this a good idea or not. And even in the games that don't have the codified like morality systems, there's still most of the time an objectively good choice. And when I say objectively good choice, the best choice. Now, I'm going to talk about Mass Effect. Mass Effect's really bad for this, or really good for this, depending on your opinion, because um, the most nuanced choice you can make in Mass Effect is in Mass Effect 2, where you're doing Legion's loyalty mission, and you have the choice to either destroy the heretics or rewrite them. Now, I think if I remember correctly, the game puts like the rewrite option as the Paragon option and the destroy option as the renegade option. But when you really think about it,
Hmm.
neither of these are good.
Yeah,
Neither are good
you are
options.
brainwashing half a
Yeah,
civilization.
it's either like I'm killing everybody or I'm brainwashing them. Which one is worse, kind of thing. Whilst a lot of other choices in Mass Effect are, they don't outwardly like say like you they don't outwardly say like this is the good one, this is the bad one, but there's usually like a third option that's the best one, kind of thing. Like for example, like sorting out the fucking Quarian war kind of thing. You could choose the Quarians, or you could choose the Geth, or you could have done everything right and you get both, kind of thing. Like I think the most nuanced one is probably the genophage one, where it's like, do you cure the genophage or do you not, kind of thing. There's enough pushing and shoving there that you could make like you could make a good argument for both. You just have to be careful with who you do it with, because if you sabotage the genophage when you have Rex, you will end up killing Rex because he will find out.
What
Yep.
quickly kind of touching on that, I think also
And the Rat Knight Queen as well,
the
yes.
the extremes that we go to in that, yeah, because I saw a video the other day which has a very interesting exploration of Morden Solus and that and his as a character. And one thing which I saw a scene which I don't think I've ever seen before or see anyone get, which is the scene where he literally admits that he made a mistake. That is when he
I made a
is
mistake.
yeah, when if you're Paragon, he's doing it like, oh, it's the right thing to do. It's the good thing. He never admits that he did wrong. And in the Renegade, you basically end it, so he never gets a chance to go against it, and you end up killing him anyway. But the option in between where you sabotage it, but you let him down easy, and you kind of say, it's something we should do for later. He actually admits his fault and admits that he made a mistake, which ironically, you could argue is better growth for his character because he actually admits that he was wrong rather than hiding behind a veneer of fixing it,
Yeah, that's why I really like that the Mass Effect games actually portrayed it as Paragon and Renegade, because not all the choices you make are good and
Good or
evil.
bad, yeah.
Like, because the Paragon is to talk your way out of situations, to be the diplomatic person, while the renegade is hit stuff, shoot stuff, sort of thing. Like they do get portrayed as good and evil because the paragon option does tend to lead to the best outcome kind of thing, while the like if you do a full renegade like run, you fuck yourself like really badly when it comes to like Mass Effect 3 kind of thing. But I like how it's portrayed as like it's not good or evil, because there's some times where I'm like, I don't want to choose the fucking paragon option. Go fuck yourself, kind of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
But
In fact,
I will
I was going to ask you, like, does does being a renegade make you an evil in the game?
no, but it does imply. But the thing is, renegade is implied to be like the bad option, because especially in Mass Effect 2, the more renegade thing, if you don't like take the surgery, the more renegade options you choose, the more your cybernetic scars open up, and like shadow, like Shepard's eyes glow and stuff like that, which is very similar to what morality systems used to do in those games. Where if you made like more good, like this was very clear in Fable. In games like Fable, where if you made more good choices, you'd get like fairer skin, like you'd have like a little aura around you. Sometimes you get a little halo above your head, or if you made bad choices, you would grow horns and get like really smoky face and stuff like that. Um, let's not talk about the fucking weird implications for some of these body changes. But that was pretty much what it was like back in those days.
May I, however, make a counterpoint?
Sure.
You still defeat the Reapers and you still save the galaxy.
Yes.
Are
Yeah.
you
So it's
therefore
not.
are you therefore not a hero, even if you are an anti-hero?
You are always a hero. Yes. You are like railroaded onto this, like especially in Mass Effect. You are like, I think also in Dragon Age as well. You are railroaded onto the story. Like you will end up defeat, like in Dragon Age Origins, like in Mass Effect, you'll defeat the Reapers. In Dragon Age Origins, you will defeat the Archdemon. In Dragon Age 2, you will somehow survive Kirkall, I guess. In Inquisition, you will defeat Corypheus, kind of thing. All of these things will happen. It's just morality is basically flavor. It's like very rarely, like it happens more often in Mass Effect than it does Dragon Age, that something will change because of your actions. Like Baldur's Gate 3 is better at this, but even then, like Baldur's Gate is very good in regards that it's like there is like a morality system like working in the background, but it's not mentioned. It's, like like it's not mentioned, but it is working in the background. And as Drifting says, there are still choices that get made where you can clearly see this is the good choice and this is the evil choice, kind of thing.
I'm also going to just also agree with Drifting here about what she's saying, because Miss brought up Undertale is a great example, because it becomes different depending on who you choose, and I think the idea of Undertale keeping morality done well, keeping it secret. I disagree. I think Undertale's a terrible example, more from a gameplay design perspective, because because you immediately go into the game playing it how you expect, and then you get punished for it by locking you onto the normal path, because you're just playing the game how we've always played games.
Yeah,
You know,
I think Undertale's a terrible example. Well, it's a very good example if you want to point out the flaws in a morality system, in that
yes,
you cannot be neutral. As soon as you start codifying your morality system, it always ends up the player goes to an extreme. The player cannot sit in neutral or they lose buffs, kind of thing. They end up one way or the other. And also, I'd also argue that as soon as you codify a morality system, the gamer stops thinking about the choices that they make and starts thinking about how can I get
the
X
best,
amount of stuff.
the
Now,
best is yeah.
yeah, like this is exactly what I felt when I played Star Wars: The Old Republic, because there's a morality system in that which gives you like tepid buffs, like nothing that will like really nothing that's game breaking or anything. But um there's an option to turn on the little morality icons on the dialogue wheel. And and they'll show up anyway. If you hover over a choice, it shows up anyway. So you can't ever hide the morality that you will get from it. But I found in doing that, I would gravitate. I wouldn't. I'm not looking. I know I was no longer looking at what the dialogue said or what it was doing. I was looking for that little star that says this is a light side option, or I was looking for the little triangle that said this is a dark side option, and I didn't give a shit. It was it. I stopped thinking. I stopped playing a character and was just thinking I'm a good person, therefore I must choose the good option, kind of thing. And there could be an argument to be made, well, that's a you problem, and it's like, well, no. Well,
Because
maybe it is.
because you're not choosing the option your character would choose. You're choosing your option because the character is good, and therefore they would
Yeah.
choose this option.
Yeah,
Also,
but
sorry.
the thing is, the game was also not really incentivizing me to think, kind of thing. It was giving me like it doesn't give me anything if I'm neutral.
Mm.
It gives me buffs if I am extreme in one way or another. The higher I get up the scale towards like 5, the more buffs I get. If the lower I get down towards like dark 5, the more buffs I get, kind of thing. So I'm not incentivized to role play my character how they would work.
Mm.
I'm incentivized to like grind as much alignment as possible,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
But
So I wanted to address a few things here because, um, especially well, starting from what you were just talking now, yeah, I don't think this is on you. I don't think this is on the player because the devs specifically knew what they were going for and specifically knew that a lot of players would not want to, because a lot of players don't care about that. They do want to go for, they won't even read what this is about. They were going to go, okay, I have a star for the light side, I'm going for that. I have a triangle for the dark side, I'm going for that. I don't care what it means. I don't care what it says. I don't care for the lore. I'm going for the bar. I'm going for the paragon. I'm going for the renegade. I don't care for what actually the choices are here.
Yeah, and
Which
I
is
think.
why, sorry,
Sorry,
sorry.
no,
Go ahead.
continue.
Which is I'm gonna let you know when I'm finished so that I don't have to force you to stop when you interrupt. Because this is why, even though the morality systems have been introduced a lot before, the games like Witcher 3 or later Baldur's Gate have been so new and fresh for people because they were not showing you which way to go. They were dealing more with consequences of your actions rather than with going the good way or the bad way. And I wanted to also contest a bit for what Drifting said about you clearly see what choice is good. You clearly see what choice is good for you. But I've seen people like, for example, I've been looking at Krendor playing Baldur's Gate 3. For him, completely different things mattered, completely different things were considered by him as good and positive for him, and things that he would choose. As Krendor, not as character, he wasn't RPing the character, he was playing as himself as a gamer. Completely different things were important for him, so it's completely different things are interpreted as good in particular scenarios. But I would say Baldur's Gate, from what I have taken from this game, is really doing well the fact that you are mostly dealing with consequences of your actions instead of being good or evil. Except for Dirge, which I have not played, which is just constantly tempted by the narrator for doing evil things.
Yeah, I think that actually really builds off what I was going to say, which is I think the main problem with morality systems, not only just in the fact that if you codify them within the game, like you have a bar, you end up like sucking a lot of nuance out of the game, is that morality systems need to be in a game where actions have consequences and the consequences matter, kind of thing. Because it's all well and good having like a good choice and a bad choice, but it needs to mean something, kind of thing. Like I'm not sure if this is considered a spoiler. Put the spoiler tags up anyway, L, because I'm going to talk Baldur's Gate 3.
as far as I
It's
up.
Act 1 spoiler, so it's very early in the game, but I just want to be careful. Um, I like in the early game, you get a choice of, do you save the Druid Grove, or do you help the goblins to destroy it, kind of thing. Now, on it, like this on its face is a very is this on its face is a black and white decision. I'd argue it's grey. I think it's like light grey and dark grey kind of thing. But this consequence, like this action does have consequence. If you go into the grove and destroy everything, all of those NPCs are dead. They're gone. You ain't seeing them again, kind of thing. They've gone to the great fucking bastion in the sky, kind of thing. Or you can go and like completely destroy the goblins, and then all of those characters are gone. One of which is a companion you can maybe recruit, kind of thing. Like gone, just fucking vanished. Like just like, and that's the kind of consequence that matters. Like, because you have an impact on the game. Like, yeah, as Drifting says, some characters will legit just fucking fight you if you try to like destroy the grove. I think Karlak's one of them. Like, she really kicks off if you try to destroy the grove. I remember I did one thing where I was like, haha, Will as well. That makes sense. I remember I was like, I'm going to tell Mithrathra where the grove is, and Carlet was like, what the fuck? And I was like, it's fine. We're telling her, and then we're going to go and tell the grove, and then we're going to have a fight. Basically, so that's how I managed to solve it. I think if I'd actually let the grove like get destroyed, she would kick my ass,
Yeah.
rightfully so. But what I'm trying to get what I'm trying to get across here after getting like completely destroyed in a tangent is that for morality systems to really work, you need to have actual consequences in your games. Like you can't just have like sometimes it can be small things like, do you give the chicken back to the owner, or do you give the chicken to somebody else, kind of thing, or you keep the chicken, kind of thing. Sometimes it could be small stuff like that. Like I'm not going to be this person who says every choice that you have to make in a video game has to be important, kind of thing. But I think, pardon me, if you're going to be if you're going to use morality, you need if you're going to use morality and you're going to use it in a nuanced way, you have to make sure that the actions of the player have consequences, kind of thing. Because otherwise it becomes a case of it doesn't matter, kind of thing. So I'll just choose all the good things, or I'll choose all the bad things, kind of thing, because I don't give a shit, kind of thing.
Lemming.
One example that I can use here where they try and do like a hidden morale system where being the bad guy is encouraged because you get better rewards, but really failed was BioShock. Where the
Yes.
morality system was entirely based around what you did with the little sisters. And if you were evil and killed the little sister to get the maximum amount of reward, you got more stuff to upgrade yourself with. But the reason it failed was if you went good and rescued the little girl and then they ran off, you'd get less of the material, but every couple of times you did that, they'd leave you a reward, which basically like closed the gap. Like, why?
Yeah.
I mean, I understand why there'd be a reward, but at the same time, why give us a reward for doing the good thing when the whole point is you're supposed to get more doing the evil thing?
Yeah, I mean, to me that failed because the whole point of being good is you've done a good thing. You've done the right thing. That should be it. You shouldn't be rewarded for it. A reward is nice, but shouldn't be expected. Whereas the evil, I quite liked the idea that BioShock had. I just think it went far enough with it, where it rewards you for being evil because it gave you power, and the idea that you could shirk that power by being good, but it made things harder for you. But then you probably felt more rewarded if you then succeeded.
Yeah, exactly.
This brings up Spider-Man Web of Shadows. I don't recall too much about the writers, but again, it still was. That was, I think, even another kind of example where again it was flip-floppy, where you could literally in a combat in a boss fight decide, okay, I'm gonna kill the boss, or I'm actually gonna try and take down the boss non-lethally. And the whole point of that game was duality because of the black suit and such as well. It was interesting. Again, it still is gamifying morality.
Yeah.
And I think also a lot of people will often say good and bad when actually when they look into these systems, they're not saying be good or bad. They're actually saying be paragon and renegade, which is not good and bad. It's paragon and renegade. Those different things. Or if in in the one I was going to mention, which is Red Dead Redemption 2, honorable or dishonorable. You know, Arthur Morgan, whether he's still a thief and a criminal at the end of the day. You can play the
Yeah.
entire game as a thief and a criminal. And that's what he is. He kills people and such. The difference is if high honor at the end determines on whether he feels, like regret over like some things that he
Yeah.
did.
If he's
Yeah,
an
you can
honorable
take
bastard, of
spoiler off.
whether he's an asshole.
Whether he's an asshole, whether he
Yeah.
actually regrets what he did and has some growth as a character, but it doesn't change the fact that he is still a criminal and that's his life.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say, Burr?
I just wanted to defend Undertale because Drifting
Go on.
was saying mean things about my boy,
Well, we
my
say
girl, my Undertale. Yeah, and because yes, that game does get you into a neutral ending because you're doing something that you years of playing JRPGs have forced you. But that game is as much a game as it is an sort of experiment, as it is a form of art, a sort of form of playing with the preconceived notions. That game, even from the very start, from the first part, is telling you, hey, I'm gonna josh with you all the time, especially the first time when you kill an important person and you want to load, the game is telling no loading, living with consequences. And you sort of, the game tries to make you to think like, maybe I'm not just a clicking pixels, maybe I should be treating it like I'm actually doing something that I should not be doing. Maybe I should
yeah.
be rejecting those preconceived ideas that JRPGs and other games have instilled in me. So
But
I feel like the game is really doing it the right way and the interesting way.
I would agree
And
with you if there was a boilerplate at the start saying this game's an experimental game. Please consider the choices that you're making as if you're making choices in real life and not just throw you into it without
But
any
the,
context of that.
the game is trying to do that through the tutorial when Toriel is leading you through her dungeon. She is trying to tell you literally that, but not directly, not like it was saying, you player, you should not play this as a JRPG, because that would completely break like the narrative. It is trying to tell, the game is trying to tell you that.
But I would argue then the game's failed to convey that message.
That might be possible, but in time, throughout the game, you do get in multiple places in the game. You do get repeated the fact that maybe you should play the game a bit differently. And the other thing is that game is like 4 hours long. So if you play for like 4 or 5 hours, you get a few messages saying like, maybe you should not be killing everything just because the other games told you to kill things for XP.
Hmm.
And I for one at least think that the game is really did a good job of playing with those expectations,
Oh,
playing
it
with
did.
subverting what you expect from the games. And also the neutral ending is not that bad of an ending. It is a bittersweet. It is the neutral run is kind of bittersweet. You and the game is then addressing literally you through the fourth wall in many places, including at the end of the game. It's like, maybe you should play this game in a different way. Maybe you should start considering what you are doing to the characters in the game. Maybe you should start being a bit more humane, a bit more friendly, a bit kinder to those characters. How about you try play this game again? And then if you decide to play this game again, spend another like 5 to 6 hours, you get a wonderful, amazing friendship ending, true ending. And then the game says, okay, so you got the best ending, but you could also go the evil ending. But do you want to? Do you really want to, in the name of seeing what happens if you murder everything? Do you want to do that, or would you rather not play this game again and leave it at the good ending? And
I
it kind of all the time the game tries to play with you. All the time the game tries to play on your preconceived notions of what you have learned about the JRPGs.
I will actually I'll actually say that even if the game is trying to make you think about it in a different way, it is still using that morality system, and we can still critique it on the use of that morality system. And unfortunately, the use of its morality system is shit. Like
Uh,
even if it's trying to make a point with it, we can still critique it on the fact that it is using the system, and the way the system is implemented is leaves a lot to be desired. I do have an idea also came a separate idea came to me, but I think Elle wants to say something, so
well, yeah, I mean, I more to the fact that I'd argue the fact that, as Drifting says, you're a kid dropped into a world where everyone wants to attack you. Why is the onus on you, solely on you to keep the peace? And again, you're saying you can do this, you can do that run, but the neutral run, you're all once you've realized this, you're already locked on that neutral run, or worse. And at that point, there's not much you can do to then switch back onto that good route again. Because again, the game hasn't accurately kind of signposted this whole idea. And I mean that I think is a fault of signposting in general. Although I think the intention of the game is to not tell you that. It is, as you say, an experiment, but we can still critique it for that reason. Um, yeah.
I will I to change tack a little bit. We've talked about how morality systems can be very arbitrary, like full light, full dark sort of thing. Is it I'm not quite sure how to word this, but would I would it's difficult to word this, so I'll just try and explain what I'm talking about. When you have like a system where like morality is like checked and visible on a bar, where you can be like fully light, fully evil, whatever. Do you think there should be consequences for the character if you attempt to redeem yourself? Because in these games that tend to check it, it tends to be very easy to just swing all the way one way and swing all the way the other way. Although usually in the games, like once you're on the path, it's pretty much like, well, I might as well just stay here. But I think there is something to be said about like the loss. Well, one, the loss of verisimilitude in the fact that a character can go all the way to the light and then just be like, you know what, I feel like being a complete fucking asshole, and then just swinging all the other way. When what would truly happen is like it's easy to go all the way to the evil. It's easy to be a bastard and for people to go, oh, come on, what the fuck? But much more difficult to get out of the dark section and into good kind of thing, because you have to actually work for it. I'm
Mm.
just thinking if that would thoughts basically.
I think that'd be the important thing is how to actually codify that in a
Mhm.
like a
Yeah.
fashion.
It would be very interesting to have something like that. The implementation, like El said, would be a really hard problem, especially because you only have like a finite amount of options, of moments, of chances to go towards good or bad. So if you spend a certain portion of game getting towards the bad part, and then try to redeem yourself through the rest of the game, you might not be able to redeem yourself fully or to some
Mhm.
meaningful place. And also the fact that the recognition by the game that you're trying to go a redemption mode, because the game would probably the easiest way for the game would be to recognize whether you're like trying to achieve certain stats, certain results that in some cases the bad choice will give you, in some cases the good choice will give you.
Yeah, I think now you've spoken about it. I've got it a bit more clear in my head. I think it's more because the morality system is codified within the game. It affects the verisimilitude of the media itself. I learned a new word today, and it affects it because if like most of the time, like if somebody does something fucked up and they try to like it's a hard road to get back kind of thing, but if you're a good person then you fuck up, you might be given a little more leeway kind of thing. And I think the problem with the fact that the morality system is so codified is it affects like how it exists within the game world itself, like in the world building, because if morality is so loose, so easy, so gamified. Like it's just, like being evil, being good. There's no weight behind it. There's no weight behind the choices. I think it's more. I think I'm just going back to like actions must have consequences.
No,
Kind
I,
of,
I
but
do, I do agree. One thing I want to kind of switch slight railway tracks to is marrying us back to the conversation it was having originally, which is the fact that people said, "Oh, I want to be evil, therefore I want to be able to be a dick to certain people."
mm, yes, the point we were actually on.
Well, no, I think no, because I think all this has been interesting. It's just that I think that we need to kind of consider that as well. Should your should your character have standards? Is what I'm basically saying. Should your character be like,
Yes.
I'm a bit evil, but I'm a bit evil, but I'm not racist. You know?
Yeah, I think so because
Yeah.
like there's always a baseline that the character can never go under kind of thing, like we were talking about before. You're always like the hero of the galaxy, you're always going to be like the warden, like the hero, the warden, etc, etc, etc. You're always going to end up saving the world one way or the other. You're not like a complete bastard who can just be like, well, actually I'm going to join the villain kind of thing and be evil. If you
Hmm.
want that kind of thing, play a D&D game,
Oh
like
yeah,
play a TRPG
yeah,
kind of thing.
D&D. Yeah, I definitely agree. What I'm also what I'm more specific about is that should we allow people in games? They can be evil as a like theatrical evil, like, "Whoa, haha, I'm going to be evil and do these evil things." Should we allow them to be prejudice?
It's a difficult one
It is, yeah, because that is
because
it's very easy to to portray being evil as being that, but it also enables and that
very bad.
behavior,
I
which
think it's entirely down to the morals of the developer.
I
that's a
think
fair
it's
comment.
If the devs
yeah,
are okay with that being in their game, they can add it. But evidently, the people who are making these games don't have that palette.
yeah, exactly. Because there's a reason why a certain crime doesn't come up in those video games kind of thing, because yeah, you can kill people, and a lot of people. But there is a crime that you don't cross the boundaries of that. I'm not going to mention here, but I think a lot of people can hopefully pick up what I'm putting down, kind of thing. The thing that's worse than death, shall I say? And that's not usually used. I say not usually used outside of some very very banned porn games, shall we say, for a reason, kind of thing. Because it's because one, it's incredibly uncomfortable for people, and two, I also don't trust people to treat it
With
respectfully.
respect it deserves, yeah.
See, that's the thing that I think about uh, characters being prejudiced. Is like I can understand people like, yeah, but I want to really want to be an asshole, and it's like, yeah, I can get that, but you can be an asshole in ways that
Without
isn't
doing this.
bigotry, kind of
Yeah.
thing. And and like there's no good. I think it's very difficult to be able to have a character say bigoted things and not have it like really come across as bad, because I feel really uncomfortable with the tiefling racism in Baldur's Gate 3. Like really uncomfortable with it kind of thing. Like I've always felt uncomfortable with stuff like that. But it's and I mean that's fairly minor, honestly. Like
Yeah.
your character could be a dick about it, but like they're not it's not that bad. And I think I say it's not that bad in context with everything else going on, but that's also a thing as well. Like, yeah, I want to be an asshole to this trans person. It's like, okay, but that's also going on in the real world, and
Yeah.
you
It's
can
like read the
understand.
room, you know?
Yeah, read the fucking room. I'm trying to remember actually because there was a trans man in Dragon Age Inquisition, and um I'm trying to remember, like, because you can ask him about being trans, because it was back in those days where it was like baby's first encounter with queer kind of thing, and it's always very funny, like how those dialogues go. And I just cannot remember if there was a dialogue because there is a dialogue option to ask, like, weren't you a woman before? Like that really clunky way that dialogue used to be written in those days. And I just cannot remember if you could like disapprove of it or not. I just can't. I don't remember. I don't remember you could disapprove of it. I think it was more a case of like an ignorant inquisitor asking a trans person like, why are you trans, kind of thing. But there wasn't a way to say like, oh, I'm glad that I'm glad that you're living as you are, or like, no, you should go and to burn in the fires of hell. It was more a case of like, this is somebody's first encounter with a trans person, let's explain it to them,
Yeah.
kind of.
I do think there
So
is definitely a kind of a read the room aspect to this.
yes.
In a bit like how it kind of would have been very insensitive to have discussions of terrorism in games around the December 11th back in 2001, I would have thought.
Yeah.
Yes, I think some children's episodes were pulled
Yeah.
because of that.
I mean,
Precisely.
a pivotal sequence in Lilo and Stitch, the original animated movie, got scrapped and rewritten specifically because that happened.
Yeah. There is, and right now, trans people are going through something very, very dangerous, as well as the LGBT community in general, because of course we're having concerns about the future of our rights with certain places. That it can be understandable that the developers didn't want to create an option for people to disavow this, especially when, you know, yeah, I just don't like. I get that people say, "Oh, but I want to be able to role play my character." A lot of it, when I hear that, feels like I want an excuse to be racist. I want an excuse to be
Yes.
bigoted,
Yeah.
and that's where it's like, but is it because your character, or are you just looking for an excuse just to be racist or bigoted towards this? Which,
Yeah.
if yeah,
No.
that's where, because to me, if I don't have an option, I'm disappointed. But I'm like, oh, well, that's all right, you know.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. There are a lot of ways to have your character be a complete fucking asshole that doesn't involve being a bigot, kind of thing. Like, there's a whole there's like loads of dialogue in BioWare games, in the Larian games, where your character could just be a complete fucking twat to somebody, but that doesn't involve them being like racist most of the time, unless you count
Yeah.
the tieflings,
And
because
Shepherd a little
of
bit.
course, yeah,
Mm.
I mean, at the end of the day, I think it mostly just comes down to the morality of the time and the morality of the developers. And if the morality of the developers does not equal you, the person at home who wants to be allowed to be a racist, homophobic dickwad,
Because
then you're not getting what you want.
I could
yeah,
see an argument made if the inverse was created, where they did allow those options, for there to be legitimate criticism for having those options in
Yeah.
there, in like a time when that is a very contentious issue. Um,
Yeah. It's like violence in video games is completely allowed because we know it's fake. And violence is, it can be comedic, it can be action packed, it can be fun. It gets the adrenaline up. But things like that, kitty, things like that, that we're talking about now, unnecessary.
yeah,
Mm,
unnecessary.
yeah,
You can be evil without being a dickhead.
yeah. I was gonna say something and then I saw Chaka, and it's just completely vanished.
Kitty!
She's a
Yeah,
she's a neuralizer.
yeah, pretty much. Um, I was gonna say, I think it was something to do with um. No, it's gone. It's completely gone. I think it's something to do with the fact of um if you don't agree with the fact, like as Lemming says, quite a lot of art is coming from the artist kind of thing, and the morality that's given to you and the choices you can make with it is also very much a product of the artist themselves kind of thing. Like their views and their politics and their biases will seep through into any art that they make, like even game developers kind of thing, be it good or
Yeah.
ill or such like. Oh, that was
Yeah.
it. I wanted to talk about Will for a second. Um, I've talked about it before about
The
him being like,
Blade of the Frontiers.
yes, about him being the only person of color that's like the only person of color in the group that 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 the dialogue options towards him are a little bit suspect. I will say. I won't say it like I won't make any allegations or anything like that. But it's very suspect that the only things you can be to Will is like really, really nice to him or a complete fucking douchebag kind of thing. And it's like I'm not gonna like I'm not gonna say that there's that like I'm not gonna say there's anything nefarious going on here. I just find it very suspicious and a little bit uncomfortable that there doesn't seem to be a way that you can just be a normal person to him. You can either be really, really nice to him, or you could be a complete fucking asshole. And it's like, I why are you doing this to the only black character? I don't like this kind of thing.
It kind of feels like they didn't have anyone in their employ who could look at it from proper background, proper perspective. Uh, you know, they might have not had any like um any fuck now I'm not sure what the word for that be, any analog of Sweet Baby Inc. That could tell them what would work, what would not work from the perspective of
Yeah,
someone who can tell how it is to talk to a black person.
I
Because
was about to say, gee, it's almost like there's
Larian is Swedish game. There's famously not many black Swedes, so they might not have enough people in their employment who would have
I,
proper background, proper
Yeah,
I mean,
sensibility.
I don't know whether sweet boy being words on it, but but as I was going to comment before you mentioned, it's like, gee, it's almost like you wish there was like a company you could go to kind of get
Yeah,
someone to read
yeah,
to give
and
opinion on that.
like I said, I don't think there's anything nefarious going on here. I think
No,
it's literally just a blind spot
yeah,
that for the devs, and that's what I mean about like biases and politics like seeping into the games that you make. Sometimes stuff like this
yeah.
happens,
So
and
I
and
wanted to sorry,
I
just
can I
wanted to
finish,
quickly
please?
correct. Yeah, sorry.
Um, I was just going to say that this is also a thing that's going to happen in regards to like characters being twats about each other. Like some game dev teams will be like, "Yeah, it's fine. Just be racist. Be a complete fucking asshole. Like I don't care." And most of the time they do it really badly. They don't handle it very well at all. And other times people be like, "I not feel comfortable you like being a transphobe to this openly trans character." And that's fine. It's just you can criticize it. You can say, "Hey, I would like some push and pull around that." But you also have to like realize what you're saying in the, "Hey, I want to be a transphobe." I mm, mm, I understand that some people like to be like complete fucking bastards in games because it's nice to be a complete fucking bastard and have little consequence kind of thing. But
it,
I just be careful what you're saying, mate.
can I say, like writers out there who utilize it, it's cheap. It's what I call cheap heat.
Yes, that's the thing. When stuff like interspecies racism is usually used, it's so fucking boring. It's so like I have this issue when it comes up in like TTRPG horror stories and stuff like that. It's like, oh, I'm gonna have like in my world, I like my characters are racist against this certain race. Why are they racist against them? I don't know. It's dark and edgy. Like, for fuck's sake, you're boring and you're stupid. You're boring and like just like it's so it's like I get it. Like, yeah, you can't like there is racism and xenophobia and stuff like that, but a lot of the time it's so often used as a I need a conflict point. What's an easy conflict point? Racism kind of thing or sexism, and nobody fucking thinks about it. Like, okay, I'm gonna go on a quick rant about Dragon Age Origins. Buckle the fuck up. So
No, good
hey,
idea, because I recently watched a Josh Troy Hayes video of it. You should go check it out, everyone in the audience. Oh,
yeah.
go on.
So okay, so um the main like Andraste is like the main fucking is the main religion in like Thedas. I think it's Thedas.
Thetis.
Um in the world, yeah? And it's run by a woman, right? The woman is a god figure, okay? Why why the fucking fuck does everybody like when they see a female warden be like, wow, a woman in a position of power, shocking? Like, no, the fucking world building would be would be like matriarchal. It would be from the women down because it would make like world building sense. It would make more sense for like people to look at the man and be like, wow, a guy in a position of power, shocking kind of thing. And I know it's more complicated than that, but it just annoys the ever living fucking shit out
No,
of me
actually,
when
you,
people
you
put like sexism in things like that and don't fucking think
no, no,
about the world around them and how that would work. I just
no. You mentioned that, and like, you got a good point there. Actually,
yeah,
you
it's
know.
like nobody's like people are thinking, I need a conflict point in my world. What can I use? Oh, racism and sexism. Let's use sexism. That's easy. And they don't consider like other world building bits that that would completely affect like how people would see other things. It just makes me so angry. It's just like, look, if you're gonna write prejudice in your fucking world, at least have it make sense in in the fucking. Well, I'm getting so mad about it.
Yeah,
It's
I mean,
just
I've
like
noticed.
it's always used as like a stopgap measure of like, oh, I'm gonna write a really dark, gritty world. I'm gonna like just use racism and sexism and not really think about it. It's just like you're so boring and shit at writing. Stop. Anyway, I'm done now.
no, it's fine. No, it's very valid.
Rant successful.
Yeah.
I mean, one example which I thought does, I don't know if it does it quite well. Fallout New Vegas has a karma system,
Ah.
and I don't like the karma system because what it does is unlock options for you in dialogue. When I think all those options should be available from the start, but instead of having dialogue options, it's got affinity with different factions. So of course you cannot ever be truly good with one faction because it's not what people like. And I think that's an entirely different discussion. But I think that should be a direction where, because naturally good is a matter of perspective a lot of the time. What's good for one group is not good for another.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that is a more nuanced way of a writing system. But that was 10, 20, 15 years ago.
Yeah, I genuinely think like you can have I think like in a more sort of refined thing of what I was trying to say at the start of this conversation, morality systems are really good for games, but are shit whenever they're put into a game. The only way you can really do morality right is to just scrap it completely and just write a story, kind of thing. Write a story with um with dialogue options that have meaningful consequences, like, and if that means you have to make the choices very small and few and the story very close and contained, then do so. What matters more is the impact of the choices rather than like the breadth, because that's what I really liked about Mass Effect 2 is it was quite a well contained story kind of thing. It stuck to a main through line and it kept the choices meaning something kind of thing, even though some of the choices didn't have like a visible impact until the third game, but it was still it was something kind of thing. It was like it was important to show the impact of your choices, kind of thing. And I think I I do think that morality systems were very popular like
They
when
became in
everybody
vogue.
saw. Yeah, they were in vogue for like the early 2000s because I think a lot of people like saw the success of BioWare games and and basically just took like the stuff off the top and was like, oh yeah, I need a morality system. Oh yeah, I need to give player choice, and didn't really think again of like the deeper things. Like we're seeing right now that people looked at Overwatch and stuff like that and were like, oh yeah, we need a hero shooter kind of thing that's a live service, and then they're coming out of the gate and all flopping because nobody saw the deeper like part inside. And I bet you maybe not next year, maybe not the I think not next year, but certainly 2026, we are going to see a lot of we're going to see a lot of grand fantasy games, very much like Baldur's Gate 3, because the companies will have seen Baldur's Gate 3 do really well, but have not realized why,
Why?
kind
Yeah.
of thing. And the reason why Baldur's Gate did so well is because of the deep story, like interwoven with a very good like strategy system, and also with like the D&D name behind it. And a
Yeah.
lot of companies will have just seen like, oh, I need to make a huge game with lots of choices and dialogue, and like it needs to be fantasy kind of thing. And a lot of people will, you know, they'll trot out shite kind of thing. And it does make me, because I remember a lot like several months back there was a dev complaining that, oh no, the success of Baldur's Gate 3 means people will ask us more for this. And I think they were right in that it is a prophecy that will be fulfilled at some point. But I also think like you can't blame Baldur's Gate 3 for that. You have to
Yeah.
blame Suits kind of thing, because they don't they don't get video games. They get money.
Not.
That's all they care about. And all they see is like a template for a game that will make them money, and that's what's going to happen. And I think we might see a resurgence of morality systems because of Baldur's Gate 3, because there's always a lag time between video games, and we haven't seen like these games like pop up yet. But I bet like either next year or definitely 2026, I think we're going to see a lot of them
Mm.
start coming out of the woodwork.
I want to kind of finish off with making one final contention, which I think is also which has caused this problem of this, to like saying we should have more options, and that is the genre's name, role
Yes.
playing games,
Yes.
because by their very definition, they will be compared with tabletop role playing games, which I think are not comparable to video game RPGs,
No.
because video game RPGs, you don't have a DM that's reacting to things. You have a DM that's planned for potential reactions, but not for all eventualities, and program that in. But you are still railroaded on the same plot, the same end goal, and again the same idea that you have the options to be. You're not playing the evil campaign. You're playing the good campaign. So you're the hero. You could be an asshole, but you're still the hero.
Yeah.
And yes, Burr.
Yeah, just wanted to add that a real life DM would also, if depending on the DM, when you say like, I want to be an asshole to this transgender person, I want to be a bigot, I want to be a douchebag, I want to be a racist, they will, depending on the DM, also tell you various kinds of no, to the point that if you persist long enough, they will throw you off the game.
Yeah, for example, if someone did that at my table, I'd look around and be like, okay, why you want to, and I'd ask the player, why do you want to do this? And the player gave me like a good reason. Like, for example, they said, I want my character to be a very big individual, but for them to go through a growth as a character and overcome that. That's, I think, okay, that's, that's an arc for a character to have. If you're just being it to be a dickhead, then absolutely fucking not.
That and the fact that on around the table,
I would consider
there
who's
are
around the
multiple
table.
people.
Yes.
There are other characters and other players and other people involved, and those other characters might go, "This dude's an asshole."
Yeah.
Yeah,
Standing
think,
next to a cliff.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, because I think if somebody did that, I'd be like, dude, what the fuck, kind
Yeah.
of thing, like completely
Bro, why
out
are
of
you hanging
character,
out with
just
us?
like,
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I've
but
never had that. Thankfully, I've never had it happen. Never been in that position to be there. I hope I never have to end up in that position.
yeah,
But
no, exactly. I I was gonna say as well, like I was just gonna like agree to the point of like a video game like video game RPG is nothing compared to a TTRPG because
Exactly. Yeah.
like if even for all the planning and the programming that you can put into a game, like
it will never
there's
be the
still
same.
hard nose in the game kind of thing. Like a DM will give you hard nose as well, but like a flesh and blood DM will be able to give you solutions to things that a game just will not think about kind of.
Yeah, a DM can think of things on the fly
Yeah, like
to just throw at you. Like, there you
yeah,
go.
we can do like really stupid things that a game just cannot. Like for a video game, it's constricted to the mind of the person programming it kind of
Yeah,
thing.
they might think
And
of 8 different solutions for a scenario, but a player can come up with 9.
yeah, exactly. And then like you need the flesh and blood DM to look at look at that ninth solution and go, okay, does that actually work? Or what checks do I need this person to like do for me, or something like? Is there something else they could do, kind of thing? And I think, and also the fact of like I come from a very I only recently started playing TTRPGs. Probably like fuck a couple of years ago now. But I do remember especially in Scarfulu's campaign, his D&D campaign, where I was treating the game, and I think also a bit in yours as well, El, because I was still it was still a concept in my head. I was still treating the game very much like how I play video games. Like there is a set way to approach a puzzle or approach an encounter, and and I wasn't like there's a perfect way to do something kind of thing. And that's not how TTRPGs work, kind of thing. You have to divorce yourself from the way to do something. You need to be able, because like games constrain you within like parameters. Like you can do these things and only these things. But in a TRPG, you can do whatever. Like in a like if you're inside a dungeon in one place, like it could like the game could be saying like, oh, I need you to push to solve this puzzle, and then like a ladder will drop. Like you have to solve this puzzle, and then the door will open and the stairs will be there. But in a TPT-RPG like area, you could build stairs out of like you could build like a ladder out of random crap you find around the area. But the game won't let you, because the game is like, no, you are not to build a ladder. The way to solve this puzzle is this way specifically,
Mm.
kind of thing.
It's a bit of a tangent, but you all 3 of you have been involved in different experiences of role playing games, and also played role playing games as well, as in like video game role playing games.
Yeah.
So you have all bases for comparison and all different levels of experience. I mean, would you agree that you know you can absolutely have programmer games to a certain point to understand options, but you will all that games will always video games will always have a limit in there somewhere.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean,
And
hell, World of Warcraft has live DMs
mhm.
that run around and answer queries.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like if somebody was to like put me on the spot and say like, which is better, a video game RPG or a TTRPG? I think I would say TTRPGs, honestly, because there's nothing like I do love Baldur's Gate 3, and I do love like video game RPGs. Like I do love them a lot, but there's something about a TTRPG being so free,
Hmm.
being so like able to approach it however you want within certain parameters, but parameters that are not nearly as like boxed in as a video games would be. That's very freeing to me, like really overwhelming at first. Like I will say, like the amount of times I've just like Elle's just been like, what do you want to do, and I'm like, never had a thought in
No,
my
it's not
life.
life.
But I appreciate, being able to do that. It takes a time to train yourself out of the video game mindset, though.
Oh
It's
yes.
very like I had to do it for playing Connor's campaign and your campaign as well, because I'm so used to being like I have to find the right way to do something, and there is no right way. There is just a way.
I mean, case in point, before we get to Burr, because Burr had a question to point out as well. How
Baby.
unusual, baby, how unusual would it be is if you guys walk up to an NPC and I hand you a flashcard saying, those are your 3 dialogue options?
Yeah.
I would
Exactly.
be like, okay,
It would be funny because it would be an interesting approach to an
an interesting
RPG.
approach, but it's like I hope we're not doing this permanently, kind of thing.
It's like,
Exactly.
bro, you're video
Yeah.
gaming this shit? This is a tabletop.
Exactly, because there's no other way to deal with the interaction between a person and an NPC other than having predefined options that are unlocked through other actions and things.
Mm-hmm.
But you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that if I was asked whether a tabletop RPG or whether a video game RPG is better, I would say that it all depends on what I want specifically from this particular game. Because I would say they are both great for
Yeah, they're
different
great.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would,
Yeah.
I wouldn't like.
I mean,
they
for
both can exist in the same.
for a video game RPG, you don't need a DM. That is a
Yeah,
big benefit. That's a big benefit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like, it's something they both have their own place, kind of thing. I think
Yes.
I think it's more important that people who play Baldur's Gate 3 who are going into D&D with interest because they played the game. I mean, I've sort of like gone looking back into D&D myself because I'm like, oh yeah, kind of thing. I think it's very important to come in quite humble, kind of thing. And I know people won't do that because I've been playing Baldur's Gate 3. That's the D&D experience, is it not? No. No, you have to come into proper D&D, proper tabletop D&D with a little bit of you got to be humble, and you've got to be ready to like divorce yourself from I have to do it this way sort of thing. Like you have to be able to be like there is no correct way, there is only the way kind
And
of.
don't believe all the stories from Crispy Tavern and such, because they are not all TTRPG sessions and groups are like that.
Yeah, no, you've got to always remember that
Yeah.
RPG horror story compilations like that are a compilation of the worst kind of
Yeah.
thing. Like 90% of the time, people are great, or just like neutral kind of thing. Like most of the time, you'll go have a passable time, and then you'll go home. Not our D&D set, not our RPG sessions though. Those are always fire kind of thing. So
Well, I think we've kind of spent all our time on the topic, and I think we've kind of reached a natural conclusion.
yes,
Where we kind of feel it all depends down on the developers and what they feel comfortable with involving, and that video games, by their very nature, will have some form of limitations applied to them in different areas.
yes.
Yeah. So, and at the end, I think we would all agree that it would be nice to have more systems that are based on, just like TTRPGs, on consequences of our actions and on playing the role of our characters rather than playing to the numbers, to the optimal strategies, and to the morality bars.
The best morality system is the one you don't use.
Yeah.
Guess about myself. I think we should wrap it up. So let's just let Lowen get some rest.
I agree.
Yeah.
So
Should have been in bed 45 minutes ago.
sorry, my apologies.
Sorry.
We'll be back. We won't be back on the 31st or the 27th, 24th. We might shove it into January. We might have it earlier in December. We'll have a discussion about that and get back to you guys. But
I probably think we're probably going to have it in January. Then,
January,
my December is packed.
All right, then we'll say we'll be back in January. So expect to see us on the
2 party members, right? Oh my god!
7th of January. I want to thank, of course, my co-hosts. I want to thank Burr.
What's a Raftar?
I want to thank Lemming. I want to thank Shadow.
Bye.
Stick around for the raid, everyone. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Bye. We're raiding Laura, right?
Ooh.
Because she's live.
Oh yeah. Well, let's do that then.